Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new episode of At the Buzzer Sports, where we talk all things basketball all the time. I am your host, John Drummond, and we all know that the playoffs are going on right now. A lot of teams are down 0-2. There are teams that lost in 5 games. There are some teams that had predictions of going to the playoffs in the New Orleans Pelicans, or at least being in the play-in, and didn't make it at all. So we all know that this offseason, there's going to be a lot of trade rumors. A lot of superstars are going to be on the block. The Phoenix Suns were a team with high expectations and didn't even make the play-in. So there's are going to be guys on that team that also is going to be in trade talks as well. So we all know Bleacher Report put an article out talking about some of the blockbuster trades that can happen this offseason, and you guys know I have to react to it. So let's get right into it. Let's go. Okay, so here we have blockbuster NBA trades for teams ready to risk it all. Now, this is another Bleacher Report article. Hopefully, there are some really good trades in here because every time we get to this website, there's always some type of trade that makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. Like LaMelo Ball going to the Magic. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. Anyway, let's get into the first trade. Zion Williamson will be going to the Detroit Pistons. Somebody predicted this. Somebody predicted this, chat. That's all I'm going to say. Somebody predicted this. It's almost like I'm the guy that predicted it. Zion Williamson fits fantastic with the Detroit Pistons. I love his fit with the Pistons. Anyway, let's take a look at what the trade would be. Jaden Ivey, Tobias Harris, Bobby Klintman, a 2027 first round pick, and a 2025 second round pick via Toronto. It'll be also top 3 protected for the 2027 first round pick as well. So here's an article on why the Pistons do it. I'm pretty sure we know why the Pistons do it. The Pistons are a team that just made the playoffs after losing 30 straight games last year. They have Cade Cunningham, who's possibly going to make an All-NBA team this year. They have Jalen Duren, who's going to be getting a lot better, Asor Thompson, who's going to be getting a lot better, and Malik Beasley, who was in the running for 6th man of the year and is one of the best three-point shooters in the league. So you bring in a Zion Williamson, which once again, I've said this in my video. If you want to scroll through my channel and find the best trade targets for Zion Williamson, I explained why he would fit so well with the Detroit Pistons. So you have a team in the Detroit Pistons who love to run pick and roll. Cade Cunningham operates out of the pick and roll more than a lot of point guards in the NBA. He's a really good three-point shooter. He's a really good pull-up shooter. And he's also a really good distributor out of the pick and roll. And the best part about it is some people don't talk about how Jalen Duren makes a lot of decisions in the short roll when he gets the ball in a high pick and roll situation. You have a guy like Jalen Duren who can make those lob passes, make those kick-out passes, make those passes to cutters, and you have a guy like Zion Williamson sitting in the dunker spot. Or you can flip it around. Zion Williamson sets the screen for Cade Cunningham, and then you have Jalen Duren in the dunker. Or Zion Williamson is so good with the ball in his hand, you can run pick and roll with him, with Jalen Duren rolling to the basket and Cade Cunningham playing off ball, which is something we would love to see more from Cade Cunningham. Or you can have Cade Cunningham cutting to the basket to get him easier attempts around the rim, because we know he was not the best finisher around the rim this season. I really like this move for the Detroit Pistons. I think Zion Williamson was playing at a top 25 level this season, averaging about 27, 5 and 5, I believe. As long as he can stay healthy, I think this is a really good pickup for the Detroit Pistons, and this is something that I'm going to be campaigning for this offseason. I really like this move. Up next, now you knew this was coming. You knew this was coming. Kevin Durant is going to be going to the Houston Rockets to fix their offense. Let's look at what the trade is going to be. The Phoenix Suns receive Fred VanVleet, Cam Whitmore, a 2025 first-round pick, which would belong to Phoenix, a 2027 first-round pick, which would belong to Phoenix, and a 2028 first-round pick, which is lottery protected. Now, this is why you don't have to give up too much when you're trying to go get a guy like KD. You don't even have to give up Jalen Green or Alperen Sengun, because you have the Phoenix Suns picks. The Phoenix Suns did not make the play-in this season. They're going to be looking to get off of Kevin Durant, maybe looking to get off Devin Booker, and going to get their picks back so they can rebuild and build a better roster around the future assets that they could build up over the next few years. So having Kevin Durant, which is about 37, 38 years old, he's going to be able to be that offensive centerpiece around a guy like Amen Thompson and Alperen Sengun. Now, if we take a look at how this could really work out, I think they would have a starting lineup of whoever they would run at the 1, because Fred VanVleet is not going to be on the team anymore if this trade does go down. And then you have Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, and Alperen Sengun, with guys off the bench like Jabari Smith, Tari Eason, maybe Dylan Brooks if they decide to keep him, and other players as well. I really do think this does help out their offense. I don't know how much it it helps as KD as being like a lead initiator. Just I don't think his handle has really gotten or has really been that good over the past few seasons for him to be somebody that can just get the ball and create time and time again. I think that's something the Suns had a problem with. They had a really tough problem creating rim pressure for the Phoenix Suns. They were bottom of the league of getting to the rim consistently. So I think KD would have to play more of an off-ball role and have Amen Thompson and Alperen Sengun be the guys that initiate the offense as much. I think if you really work on Amen Thompson's dribble penetration in the half court, and then you have KD playing off ball, I think that would help a lot more. So I really do think this helps out the Rockets offense, and I love the fact that they don't have to give up too much to go get a guy like Kevin Durant, because you give up Fred VanVleet and Cam Whitmore, and then you give them their picks. You acquired the Phoenix Suns picks this offseason for a potential trade like this. So getting rid of Fred VanVleet and Cam Whitmore is probably the best option. Now, this is Bleacher Report. So we knew that this was going to be something that we were going to see, something shocking, like Ja Morant getting traded to the Heat. If Ja Morant gets traded to the Heat, this is just the Memphis Grizzlies in the Eastern Conference, because you have the star big man who doesn't have the best offensive game, but you can make the argument is one of the better defensive bigs in the NBA. Jaren Jackson Jr., Bam Adebayo. Struggles offensively, both one of the better defensive bigs in the NBA. And then you have Ja Morant, of course, at the helm, at the point guard position. But then you have two guards who are really good shooters, really good offensive players, not the best defensive players, and can also really struggle against physicality in the playoffs in Tyler Hero and Desmond Bane. This is literally the Eastern Conference Memphis Grizzlies if Miami were to acquire Ja Morant. Now, I understand that there may be a hole that needs to be filled for the Miami Heat at the point guard position and just getting that lead offensive creator. And maybe you just build an offense that truly aids Ja Morant a little bit more, or Ja Morant just ends up getting better as an off-ball player and an outside shooter. Hopefully, let's take a look at the trade package. It'll be Duncan Robinson, Kyle Anderson, Nikola Jovic, Jaime Jaquez, a 2025 first round pick that belongs to Golden State, a 2029 first round pick, and a 2031 first round pick. Now, this isn't crazy. You keep Kel'el Ware, and you would have a starting lineup of, I would believe, Ja Morant, Tyler Hero, Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo, and Kel'el Ware. That is a really good starting five. And then off the bench, you would probably have Davion Mitchell. You would have, who else is on the team? I'm drawing a blank here. Kevin Love, if he decides not to retire. You would also have Haywood Highsmith. Like, the bench would be really bad. And do I think this trade makes the Miami Heat a contender in the Eastern Conference? No, but this definitely does help them reach a higher tier of Eastern Conference teams, because if the Miami Heat stay as currently constructed going into the next season, they're probably just going to be a play-in team again, and they're going to be going against the Chicago Bulls in the play-in tournament like we've seen every year for the past 3 years. All right, now let's get into the last trade of the video, and wow, what the hell? Now, I like the Raptors, but why would they trade for Giannis? The Milwaukee Bucks would receive Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, a 2025 first-round pick, top 2 protected, a 2027 first-round pick, a 2029 first-round pick, and a 2031 first-round pick. They knew to leave this for the last one. So let's read it. Let's actually read this. Toronto has more win now intentions than its 3 consecutive seasons without a playoff trip would suggest. That's why Jakopoto, a solid trade asset, is still on the roster. It's why RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley were brought back in the OG Anunoby deal. It's why the Raptors acquired and then extended Brandon Ingram in February. There's a desire to build a winner around Scotty Barnes, but the talent isn't quite there. Adding Antetokounmpo, a longtime target for Masai Ujiri, would change that. He's a 2-time MVP. We know his stats. He could change Toronto's fortunes the way Kawhi Leonard once did. He'd only arrive with better credentials and a more contract certainty granted. The Raptors were a lot closer to contending when they landed Leonard than they are now, but this group has a second star in Scotty Barnes, a solid supporting cast around them, and a host of young players. Giannis isn't going to Toronto. Bleacher Report. He's not going to Toronto. Like, this isn't terrible. I still don't think the Raptors would win a championship if they were to get Giannis. I don't think Giannis is going to Toronto. I'm not gonna sit here and explain why I don't think Giannis is going to Toronto. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here, I want you guys to let me know in the comment section which trade is the most realistic, whether it's KD to the Rockets, Zion to the Pistons, Giannis to the Raptors, or Ja Morant to the Miami Heat. And before you get out of here, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys turn on your post notification bells. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at the Buzzer Sports. Follow me on X at ATB Sports 1. Follow me on TikTok at the Buzzer Sports. And make sure you guys check out my playback room, which we will be starting this offseason watching historic games. And with all that being said, I will see you guys next time. Peace.